Hey, I just met you. Call me crazy. But here's my number. Call me maybe. That song is 10 years old. Call me maybe, not Baby Got Back. That's 30 years old. I wonder if over time, as matters evolve, if Call Me Maybe will be condemned as shady and predatory, like Hello, I Love You by The Doors, or Vehicle by the Ides of March. Carly Rae Jepsen herself may get canceled because hair color changing will be looked like cultural appropriation or cultural imperialism of some sort. Who knows? The tin-hatted among us don't just fret about election results and pedophilic pizzerias. One rumor circulates that Clariol's parent company, Wella, purchased the patent for a pill that delays the graying of hair. Would a big company like that really buy a patent to squash something so it wouldn't ruin their business? Either way, I'm on board. This episode of Ess-Fo strives to bring the shine back to some great unsung songs from 2020 and 2021 so that they don't age prematurely. We'll talk about some high fashion dance music from Arthur Moon, a little bit of
I'm on drug
from Admiral Fallow, throwback post-punk from Die 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 and Drakulas. But firstly, however, is one of the 4 stars on the flag of Chicago punk, Naked Raygun. I mentioned the Chicago flag along with Naked Raygun because despite both being relatively popular, not many people, including those in Chicago, know much about them. A modicum of focus returns to the band every time Dave Grohl, like in his autobiography, restates the claims that Naked Raygun changed his life and opened the gates for all that Grohl has since brought forth. Depending on your opinion of Foo Fighters, that might be a little harsh on Naked Raygun. I'm not going to dive into the history of Naked Raygun, though I do recommend a couple documentaries, one of which is What Poor Gods We Do Make, which is one about Naked Raygun itself, as well as You Weren't There, which is sort of the definitive history of Chicago punk and why no one knows anything about it. Living in the Good Times is a classic Raygun cut without being a rehash. The band's hallmark was whoa-oh-oh sort of sing-along vocals and also their manly but strong melodic sensibilities. The latter is on display here, a big sing-along chorus with a heavily reverbed guitar fills. The YouTube video is a rooftop performance, almost as if the Beatles did Get Back in full COVID regalia. It's worth checking out. The album Over the Overlords was released last year on Wax Trax Records, a revitalized Wax Trax Records, another Chicago staple. And it includes a tribute to Cobra Lounge owner and Riot Fest conspirator Sean McHugh, who died recently. Riot Fest founder Mike Patrician told me in 2009 that part of the whole reason for starting Riot Fest, which is now grown into a festival whose headliners this year are Nine Inch Nails, Ice Cube, the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, and the Misfits, the Reformed Misfits. One of the reasons behind the whole festival was to get bands like Naked Raygun to get back together. Links are below. While Dave Grohl is walking around spreading his name-drop fairy dust for Raygun, he would do well to check out Drakulas. The band is a collaboration between Riverboat Gamblers from Denton, Texas, as well as Chicago's own Rise Against. The song Dark Black, well, it's an homage to Naked Raygun's I Don't Know. Check it out.
It has become a chore to be with the Lord. They don't know what they see, they got everything.
The song is from the album Terminal Amusements, which draws its strength not just from Raygun, but from kind of jaunty rock bands like Devo, Pixies, XTC. It's also very British sounding. It bears a resemblance to maybe one of the 20 accents I just learned about, the best of which is Scousla. It also recalls How Soon Is Now by the Smiths. The bass in the Drakulas song sounds exactly like Johnny Marr's guitar. So Drakulas are on tour this fall, mainly out west. Check out links below. If you're looking for the perfect segue, I'm going to have to throw you in this direction. Drakulas to Arthur Moon mirrors the aggressive tactics I used to use when I made mixtapes 20 years ago, just to inform others how omnivorous my tastes were. Anyway, please rise for Back to the Future.
You could go with that, dance around, drink a little, take your body home.
Back to the Future, the movie, came out in 1985, but the song reminds me of Under the Cherry Moon era Prince and the Revolution, which was 1986. Arthur Moon, whose real name is Laura Faye, her voice recalls the Wendy and Lisa side of Prince and the Revolution harmonies. She also has a sensibility that's kind of like St. Vincent, and also the album Scale by Matthew Herbert, DJ Matthew Herbert to you, that was released in 2006. Dance music is usually very successful when it's predictable, but Arthur Moon does just enough tinkering to keep the song interesting for those of us who don't like to stand in the middle of the circle. The song is from the EP of the same name, and then it was released later on the Chaos, Chaos, Chaos LP released by Unity Records. Check it out. Links are below. From Chaos, Chaos, Chaos to Die, 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 I felt I owed you that one after the segue transition. Even though the band is from New Zealand, Die, Die, Die bring us back to Chicago and even Dave Grohl tangentially, because they recorded their first album in 2005 at Electrical Audio in Chicago. Losing Sight is an interesting cut, not just because Andrew Wilson's agitated voice is the sonic equivalent to skinning your knee, but despite the repeated line, "We should have drowned," it doesn't seem like there's any rest forthcoming in this song. Take a listen. The song works well as a metaphor for the COVID pandemic, as well as a metaphor for human history. I'm sure the first humans who sailed from Indonesia to Australia and New Zealand reached the shores and were like, "We should have drowned." And then they embarked upon the most incredible environmental and ecological disaster since the dinosaurs vanished. Have you read Sapiens? We should have drowned. Anyway, if there's a song that embodies the Electrical Audio aesthetic, it's this one. From the Jesus Lizard to PJ Harvey's early work to In Utero to the Detachment Kit. The apple, the tree. See, not very far apart. Links are below. The final song of this episode is slightly uncharacteristic of Admiral Fallow, but only just. Have a listen.
And it came to grief. You washed your hair. I took some drugs. I took some drugs. And it came unstuck.
With the demise of record stores and the import section with them, it's difficult to know what kind of people in the U.S. would follow Admiral Fallow. The Scots follow in the footsteps of other boisterous British bands that pull on the threads of late 60s Kinks albums, and these bands include Gorky Zygotic Monkey, King Creosote, Alfie, Gomez, Bees. Tuesday Grey has a heavy heart, however, and explores shock and grief. You washed your hair, I took some drugs is one lyrical example, and the tone of the song follows suit. It's not quite the despair explored by their label mates, the Delgados, but I hear the modern touches of Mumford & Sons and Frightened Rabbits, as well as the Irish band Bell X1. All those links are below. The track was released on the album The Idea of You on Chemical Underground Records last year. The band has limited tour dates in the northern UK this late summer and fall. That's it. I'd been promising an episode like this for some time. I wanted to go back a couple years and dig up some tracks that just never really gained any traction. And so this is one quick example of what I'm going to be doing for 2020, 2018, not 2019. Yes, just kidding. 2019. You're in there, baby. Anyway, so like, subscribe, check out all the links below for references to the songs and everything I've been talking about. I'll have a new episode with new 2022 songs coming up soon. Thank you. Be good.